Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Michael Knowles destroys this college student so bad she had to leave the building. This is absolutely embarrassing for her. But before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to our great sponsors over at Colonial Metals Group. These folks quite literally have the cure to fight inflation, but more on that later. Now, let's get back into the video.
You love doing this thing where you go off about some nonsense that isn't what the original question was about.
Logic, yes, yeah, I know. I do occasionally.
Logic
occasionally apply
entirely unrelated to what I was saying in the first place. But
what were you saying? Perhaps I misunderstood. I thought I understood.
You misunderstood. So withholding resources.
Right. Yeah, I suppose I just don't.
Someone will die.
Yeah,
when
I suppose
you have organ failure, not having an organ donor kills you. Surprise. So withholding resources from them, that isn't killing, that isn't wrong. But withholding resources from a growing fetus, somehow that's different. And the way
as
you
I tried to
make that leap, so I'm getting confused there.
You are getting confused. As I tried to explain, you are beginning with a premise that all of our organs are just undifferentiated resources to which any of us might be entitled. And that's a novel view. It's a view held by, I guess, some rather extreme liberals or materialists, but it's not a view held by me. I don't think that it's all just undifferentiated flesh. I think that things like organs have both form and matter. So there's the matter, there's the flesh, there's the stuff, but then there's the form, which tells you about what that thing is. And so my liver might look a lot like your liver, but they're different livers. One's mine, for instance, and one is yours. So you don't have a right to mine, and I don't have a right to yours, because your liver is for you, and my liver is for me. And we all know this, and we all act that way. That's why you're not coming up here and attacking me and ripping my kidneys out and selling it on a market in Wuhan or something like that. But we pretend that we don't believe these things because it helps to advance an argument which is totally indefensible and unnatural, namely that we ought to kill a baby or something like that.
So your organs are for you and you alone. You get to decide what to do with them. But a woman doesn't get that choice about her womb, about her ovaries.
Well, the baby is not
uterus.
an organ of hers. A baby is an individual human being.
So you get to make choices about your internal organs, but a living, breathing woman does not.
Well,
okay, I understand.
No, I don't think you do understand, because I don't think you understand very well at all, unfortunately, because you're suggesting that the baby is an organ of the woman, which is preposterous, obviously. You know, the baby is differentiated from organs by its DNA, by how it will develop, by, I don't think she's listening to the rest of my answer.
Good grief. This chick came here not to try to trap Michael Knowles. She knew exactly what was coming and just wanted to tell him off and feel self-righteous while doing it. This is exactly what our schools keep on producing, but I'll get to that in a minute. Michael Knowles had one of two ways to go about this. He had his, and then he could have made another point. Is a fetus an organ? The answer is no. Obviously, a fetus is another human being, a new being inside of the womb that has been endowed with by its creator with unalienable rights. And amongst these are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And if you want to be really technical, it's life, liberty, and property. But you know what? I like that pursuit of happiness thing. It throws in an extra flair, and it guarantees more rights for more people. This is a good thing. Too bad this lady only wanted to come into an argument, strut around like a pigeon. You know what? This is why you don't play chess with a pigeon. It's going to knock over the pieces, it's going to strut all over the board, probably poop on it too, force you to clean it up, and then strut around like it won, when clearly it got its clock cleaned. And after all, you're playing chess with a pigeon. If you lose, you deserve it. Hey y'all, in case you haven't noticed, this has gone to this. It is absolutely insane. What the feds have done, constantly printing money, making sure that your dollar becomes less and less valuable, has hurt the economy and has probably hurt you in ways that you can't even imagine yet. That's why we partner with Colonial Metals Group. CEO Paul Stone and his associates understand the ins and outs of protecting your hard-earned dollars backed by gold, silver, and other precious metals. And they even have a limited time offer for first-time buyers, free gold and silver IRA accounts, insured storage for 5 years, up to $7,500 in free silver, and a personal safe to keep all the good stuff. So go check them out, link in the description below, or call this phone number to talk to one of the many lauded associates at Colonial Metals Group to protect your hard-earned dollars today. But this lady did not want an honest conversation. She led the intellectual argument. She went down the rabbit hole, trying to lure Michael Knowles, but she knew she was going to lose. She wanted to tell him off. She wanted her moment in the spotlight. And she wanted to basically get out there, show the entire world that she's a self-righteous prick, and then strut off the stage like she won something important. No, sweetie, you didn't. You showed the entire world that your education up until now has been a complete and total waste. This woman does not possess the mental capabilities to actually have some reason and some logic. She is just smart enough to go down that road, but hates where it ends up. So I'm not going to say to this lady, bless her heart. Oh, far from the contrary. This woman needs a huge reality check. And this is a huge problem that you see between sort of the male and female mindset. And I hate excluding women like this. I really do, because it's not entirely fair. But the feminine mind typically doesn't go down this road. It works in a completely different way, in ways I do not understand. Ladies, remember, we're dudes. Despite the fact that we're very logical, we're kind of dumb out there. So ultimately, this is not an attempt to have a reasonable discussion. Meanwhile, Michael Knowles is out there simply given an honest, logical point. It is almost impossible for you to come up to any other conclusion unless you are living with the idea that this harms the freedom of the mother. See, that is an argument I can at least respect, because you are talking in terms of what does that freedom look like. Michael Knowles, all he has to do is say the same freedom that a fetus has, to be allowed to live. However, once you have that idea of, oh, everyone needs as much freedom as possible, and the person that we can see trumps the person we can't see. I am not a strict abolitionist when it comes to abortion, and I don't believe that line of logic at all that I just described. But it's an understandable one in both cases. However, the reason I brought up the liberal line of logic is because if that fetus threatens the life of the mother, I'm choosing the mother every time, because there's no guarantee that that fetus can be brought to term and get to that about 26-week stage when you can viably live outside the womb. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult, but it's happened before. But when someone is threatening the life of a human being, you need to guarantee that human being's right. So no, I'm not an abolitionist. But there is something I am worried about, and I want to take a slight tangent here. I worked for Targeted Victory in 2022. All reports indicated a red wave incoming. People were mad at the economy. They wanted to take it out on Joe Biden. They knew that they were getting a bad deal. Then someone leaked, and I think it was actually a right-winger on the Supreme Court, one of the clerks, I think, that's the theory, that's the rumor, leaked the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which was the right decision. Legally speaking, you have a right to privacy, but that doesn't give the Supreme Court the authority to say, now we also find that abortion is illegal. That's what the conservatives have been trying to do to the court system, is basically get back to its roots of saying, this is what's in the Constitution, this is what we rule on. We don't make up extra rules along the way like we're some legislative body. But that leakage of the decision led to a national outrage, and women voters looked left and looked right, and they went, this is terrible for us. So we are living in a world where abortion is a losing issue. And yet there are places where it's going to be on the ballot in this election, particularly, I think, Amendment number 3 in Missouri and Amendment number 4 in Florida, to which I encourage you to vote no on those amendments. But they have become an issue, a thorn in the side of Republicans, to the extent of national anti-abortionists, people that love the pro-life movement at the national level, have been silent as the grave. And so this is a thorn in the side for Republicans, which means it's going to be a thorn in the side of the hopes for the quest for life. This woman is not thinking with her head, she is thinking with her uterus, because she thinks that her bodily autonomy trumps the fact that she is potentially carrying life. There are consequences to our biology, and that's why we need good social structures to ensure the fact that the mother is protected, and so is the fetus. Michael Knowles is making that argument very simply, but this woman has plugged her fingers in her ears and said, "I'm not listening," and ultimately makes just a terrible decision and shows just how illogical she really is. This topic is very touchy. It's very important to me because I believe in the right to life. You can't have liberty, the pursuit of happiness, if you don't have the right to life. But we have to be careful with legislation. We have to be careful with rhetoric. Michael Knowles is using textbook rhetoric right here. This is how you do it. And I hope we all take note so we can actually protect the rights to life. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politbro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.